Hello, good people. We are back. So today I'd like us to talk of the if-else condition. We are done with dealing with the if statement, and if you have not, if you're not up to date with the discussion we've had about it, you can check our last video. Today we're going to talk about if-else statement, which basically is a continuation of what we talked about the if statement. So today we're going to dive into if else. So what does if else mean? Okay, it's part of the branching in Python. So right now we're doing Python. So it's a statement that let programs make decisions. So basically the branching itself lets a program make decision. So for the if else, basically it helps a program make a decision. If we're going to start with if, then we pass a condition, then we check if it's true. So first is if it's true, it will output the first condition, else the next condition. So basically we're going to follow syntax. Let's show how our syntax is going to be. Syntax will be if statement, then we pass a condition, right? So if it is true, if, and then here we're going to pass code is true. It's true. Else is now the else statement. Here it will be called if the condition is true. So basically we're going to check against the condition. It's false. I hope that's clear. Here we're going to check. We're going to pass a condition right here. Then our output will be based on whether the statement is true. If it's not true, it will proceed to the next condition, to the next code. So basically here it will output a truthy and it will output a false. If it's true, else false. I hope we're clear up to there. How our if else statement works. So maybe to get us up, it executes one group of statements. Basically, this is what I'm saying. Execute one group of statements. When an expression is true. Hope we are up to date with that. So it executes one group of statements if an statement is true, the first one. And then if basically another statements when the expression is false. So this works in a truthy and falsy way. If it's true, output the first one. If it's false, to the next one. So I hope our explanation is I hope we're clear on the explanation of how if else works. If we're passing a condition, if the condition is true, it will output the first part. If it is not true, it will go to the next part. So this is just if it is true, do this, else do this. I hope we're clear up to there. So I'm going to write here an example of so we can go to example one. Okay, I'll write here, then you can go to our write in our file just in a bit. So we want to determine if a number is even or odd. So determine a number is even or odd, right? So this is what we're trying to get using there. So we have learned initially how to get a user input, right? So we're going to say user number or input number, or we can just put a number. So remember, this is getting input from a user, right? So because it's an integer, you want to get an integer from a user, so then we go to say input, right? I hope we remember this from our previous recording. If not, you can just check our previous recording. You will get to see how we are able to get an input from a user. So we just tell a user to enter a number, right? Now we have a variable name called number, right? So we want to use it. Since I'm not sure if number is available, let's just use num. I'm not sure if number is available. So now we now have a variable name called number. So we have a variable called num. It has stored an input from a user. This number has stored an input from a user, right? Now getting an input from a user, we now want to check if the number is odd or even. And the number is odd or even if you do, we need a modulo, right? If the modulo of the number is 0, right? If you do a modulo of a number by 2 and you don't get a remainder, I hope you remember how a modulo works. Modulo shows the remainder. Like if you do a modulo of 2, if you do a modulo of 3 and 2, the remainder is 1, so the answer is 1. So that's not an even number. 5 is not an even number because 5 modulo 2 is 1. So 5 is not a modulo number. It's not an even number. Okay, so we're going to test it. How are we going to pass using the if else statement? So we're going first to check the remainder, right? So the remainder we use a modulo number. So let's say I'm going to say remainder is equals to the num, right? Modulo 2. Modulo is percentage, right? So right here, I hope we're clear. So we have another variable called remainder which stores the modulo of the input and 2. I hope that's clear. So now we're going to say if the remainder we're having is equals to 0, right? I hope that's clear. So among the conditions of writing an if else statement is that we have to indent our code. So the word I've just done right now is called indent. We're going to print, let me say you print and say this is an even number. We will say even number, right? So when we go back, our else will come back to where the if statement was. So else we indent again, then we say print. So definitely if it's not an even, then odd. I hope that's clear. I wanted to take you through the example here, and then we can write it in our file, and then we can run it on our terminal. Anyway, so since we've gone through the step by step how this will happen, let's do the same in our branch directory. Let's call it since we're designing up to example 3, we can call this. Okay, I can call it if else underscore 1 underscore 1. That's pure. Then I'll keep doing if else series to the end. So this is how our example will look in our file. So we've said we're going to we're trying to determine if a number is even or odd. This is what we're trying to gain in our from our code. So as we've said, we're going to take user input, we're going to check the modulus, and then we're going to check the conditions. That's where the if else comes. Now we've said we're going to use num as to keep the user input. Then we say we want to keep it as an integer, and we want to take the input, right? Then we say ask the user enter number or enter an input, enter a number, right? So when the user enters a number, it's stored in our variable called num, and our variable follows the rules of naming a variable name. While having a variable name, our variable name is number. We've stored the user input in a num variable. Now we have a variable, so we need to talk of the modulus. So we are going to have a variable name called a remainder, which stores the modulus of the num. So we take the num modulo 2, right? So we're going to check. This is what will be our condition. What we're going to check against our statement. So we're going to say if now the remainder is equals to 0. We talked of the double equal sign being a comparison. It's a comparison. It's used for comparison. It is used for assignment. So we are assigning. Here we are doing the assigning. Now we are doing the comparison. When I click enter, my code is already indented. I'm using the VS Code. So I just do the print here, right? I do print. Sorry, we're here. I do print. We're going to print. So if our statement, we've said here we're printing a truth. If it's true, if the remainder is 0, then the number is divisible by 2, and we don't have any remainder. Then here we're going to do else full colon. Then we do a print. You see my code is already indented, huh? So we're going to say the number is odd. That's simple. Now let's run in our terminal, and then we see what we get. So let's get to our directory, and then we can try that. So it's in our branches. In our branches we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. So we're going to say Python. It's how to run the code. Python. Then the name of the code is if else. When I do, I just start typing if, and then that gives me the full name. So it's Python if else 1.py. When I click enter, it asks me for a number. I'll say 10, right? When I enter 10, I'm told the number is even. Why is 10 an even number? 10 an even number is because when I do a modulus of 10 and 2, I get a 0. That's how it is an even number. Let's do whereby it's false. Move to enter 11, whereby we have a remainder being 1, right? The remainder, the modulus of 11 and 2, we remainder being 1, because 5 and 2 goes to 10, have a remainder being 1. So we've been told the number is number is sorry, yeah, I wanted the number is odd. So we've seen how the if else statement works here. So here we're going to say just more commenting. If it's true, then here is I would say if it's false. So just comments to ensure to keep track of, okay, basically to tell us what's happening. If it's false, it's true. Then we talked about formatting a string. So if we want to format this string to tell us what they inform the user what they had placed as the input. For example, we're going to say here 11 is an even number, right? Or 11 is even. What we're going to do right now is formatting a string, whereby we're going to use the F word. So basically we're going to say here we're going to start F. Basically now we're saying formatting the string. Now we can now pass the variable name here under curly braces. So this and this, then we say so we're going to say now what the user entered, then we're going to say is same thing to the one for odd. Are we going to cover more? We did say if we want to format a string, is that with an F keyword, and then we pass the variable name curly brace. So we do this. We say now. So basically we're going to say this or this even. Let's try not this and then we'll see if it works. Let's say 10. So we're getting here 10 is even. Okay, let me use another number so that it doesn't seem 100. 100 is even because 100 modulo 2 is 0. 50 times 2 is 100. So we have no remainder. Let's use another number for is odd because 123 by 2 we have a remainder. So we have that being odd. I hope our example here is on point and we've understood. We're going to cover more examples on the if else on our next record. This is just an introduction. I hope you've understood what has happened. I'm going to cover more examples, just taking on from here. In case you have questions, let me know. Let's be in our next one. See you.